What's a better way to start a love story than a civil war? I mean, the terms love and war has been closely associated since the beginning of time. Is that what you're trying to do, you smart Shakespeare, you? Romeo and Juliet is one of Shakespeare's most popular tragedy, if not the most popular. And what's really odd about this play is Shakespeare basically told us the outcome at the start. He's like, here's what happened at the end, but hold up, its importance is really how it happens. Kind of like it's not the destination that matters, it's the journey. Well, if the journey is so important, let's find out what makes it so important. The play is set in Verona, Italy, and one of the most vital plots of this play is the lasting feud between two families, the Montagues, Romeo's family, and the Capulets, Juliet's family. Remember that civil war at the start of the play? Yeah, it's a fight between the Montagues and the Capulets. This went on to the Prince of Verona, came to separate them, and threatens them with death if they cause such ruckus again. That's one way to keep people in line. Meanwhile, all this civil war got nothing on Romeo because apparently he was a simp right from the start. Romeo had a crush on a girl named Rosalind, but Rosalind won't give him the time of the day. So Romeo is heartbroken. Paris, a relative to the prince, seeks Juliet's hand in marriage, but her father, Lord Capulet, urged Paris to wait a while as Juliet is only 13. But Paris is like, age is just a number. Yeah, right. Juliet's father is not totally on board with this as Juliet is his only child, but he decides to host a Max ball so the two will be better acquitted. Because Paris was rich and the girl is said to have married well when she marries a man richer than she is. He sent out his guard to invite the people of Verona. The guard struggled to read the paper and sees Romeo and Benvolio, Romeo's cousin, who is the true guy of this play, by the way. So he asks them to help him. Romeo sees Rosalind's name on the list and Benvolio convinces him to go. His theory, if he sees Rosalind alongside other beautiful Verona girls, he realizes she's not all that after all. In the ball, Romeo sees Juliet and is love at first sight. Guys, from here, Romeo totally forgot about Rosalind. But Tibet, Juliet's overachiever cousin who has like zero chills, recognizes Romeo's voice and tries to attack him. But Juliet's father stops him and tells him, no one is fighting in this party. Romeo meets up with Juliet and they fall hopelessly in love with each other. But soon they realize they're from feuding family. Drama! Later that night, Romeo sneaks to Juliet's window. He climbs up to her window that night. They decide they couldn't live without each other, so they plan to get married. The next day, being the intentional man Romeo is, he went to meet Friar Lawrence, a priest, to arrange the wedding. The priest agreed, but not without a little bit of teasing about forgetting Rosalind so fast. Wow, so Romeo's Verona Casanova. The priest secretly hoped that the marriage would bring an end to the family feud. Romeo and Juliet meet up in the priest's cell and get married, but his happiness is short-lived. Remember Tibet? Yeah, he comes and challenges Romeo to fight him, but Romeo refuses, so his good friend Mercutio steps in to fight for Romeo. He gets stabbed as Romeo tries to break the fight and passes in Romeo's hand, causing the two families. This infuriates Romeo and in his anger he engages Tibet in a fight, which leads to Tibet's death. The prince arrives and Benvolio tells the prince what happens. The prince then banishes Romeo from Verona. Meanwhile, Juliet waits for her wedding night, but her nurse came to tell her what happened. But Juliet basically doesn't care about Tibet's death, just Romeo's banishment. Her nurse asks her if she don't care about her cousin's death, but Juliet is like, dude, it was take or be taken. What part of married to Romeo don't you understand? Do you want me to be a widow? Is that what you want for me? So she proceeds to grieve for Romeo's banishment. The nurse meets Romeo in the priest's cell to tell him to meet up with Juliet. He does so and they spend their wedding nights together. Lord Capulet, in the grieving of his nephew, he decides to marry Juliet to Paris in 3 days to supposedly cheer her up. This brings issues between Juliet and her family, so she goes to Friar Lawrence and says she'll kill herself if she can't get out of this. The friar comes up with a plan worse than internet advice. He gave her a vial, telling her that she should agree with the wedding and drink the substance, the liquid. It will knock her out for 42 hours. Her family would think she is dead and keep her in the family tomb. However, he will send a letter to Romeo telling him to come take Juliet away. Juliet does this and is kept in the family tomb, but unfortunately the news of Juliet's death reaches Romeo before the priest's letter. The priest was quarantined for a plague. Romeo gets a poison and decides to die alongside Juliet. He goes to the tomb, but he's confronted by Paris. They got into a fight, and yup, Romeo takes him too. He goes in, he kisses Juliet before taking the poison and passing away. Right then, Juliet wakes up. Talk about wrong timing, but the worst timing is when the friar shows up. Juliet refuses to leave and stabs herself with Romeo's dagger. When the family come, the friar told them of what happened. Instead of putting the friar in jail first, they decided the lasting feud had cost them their children, and so they settle. The end. Moral of the story, I don't know.